All right. Hello. Hello. Welcome back to Found in Translation, the book club, where we
Yay.
read a new book in translation every month. This is for Vita Nostra, translated from Russian. And we are down one of our hosts, but she DNF'd the book anyways. So she wishes us well on our
Yes.
journeys. Um, Annie, do you want to introduce yourself and also tell us what you rated this book?
Sure. So I am from Annie's Book Nook on YouTube. I love sci-fi fantasy books, so this book was definitely right up my alley. I really liked this book. For me, it was about a 4 or like 4.5, perhaps, depending on how I feel that day. um,
Okay.
yeah, I really, really liked it. It was definitely weird. um People are right when they say that like you're not going to know what's going on for the majority of the time.
Yeah,
But I like books like that generally, so it was definitely my kind of thing. What do you think?
I do too. I gave this a 5 stars. I did,
Ooh,
and I
okay.
I think like I'm confident that this will be on my best books of the year list in December
Ooh,
because I
yes.
know
I'm
I
so
it really
excited.
got me. It really got me. I
Oh,
read the
that's so
majority of
exciting.
it in airports and on planes. Um, and it was such a weird book to read in that context because it was so odd. But it worked. And what you said is exactly it. Like it's so bizarre and so out there, and until maybe more than halfway, even you have no clue what's happening. Um,
Yes.
it's just a very slow, big mystery, and you don't even know what the mystery is. It's just you just have to trust and be along for the ride. Um, but we made it. Boy, it really blew my mind.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, I'm so glad that you rated this 5 stars. Okay, good. Yay. Success.
Success. I know. I think I've only had one other 5 star from the book club this year.
Breasts and eggs,
Is
maybe?
that right? No, I gave Breast and Eggs 4 stars. I
Really?
know. I think you and Brittany both liked it more than I did.
Okay.
I think the poetry book I gave five
Oh,
stars.
yes, that was a really good one. Yeah.
Yeah, in April.
Mhm.
But I know. So this was my favorite,
Wow.
at least of all the books that we've read for Founded Translation
Okay.
so far.
Interesting. That's actually interesting because I really like fantasy, so I'm kind of surprised that I rated it lower than you too. But I mean, I still really liked it. But I don't know. There was just I liked that it was hard to understand. Like I liked that part of it, and I really liked the ending. Um, and I like can't wait for the second one to come out in English. I'm
Me
very
too.
excited for it. But I don't know. I felt like there were some parts that were just like repetitive a
Yeah.
little bit. Yeah, like I felt because it was a really long book. Um, the audiobook was like 18 hours or 19 hours or something. So I felt like it could have been a little bit shorter, but I that was like my only gripe with it. So I don't know if
Gotcha.
that's fair or not. Yeah, I don't know.
I was just gonna say, like, what would it have taken for it to be 5 star for you?
I don't know. That's a good question. I felt like there was just that whole weird thing with well, there's no spoilers, but like there was like some weird romantic drama going on
Oh
that
yeah,
was
yeah.
like kind of it felt out of place to me. And it's like, wait, what is going on? Especially because the characters, like I know they're in college, but they still felt kind of young to me. So
Yeah, they're supposed to be like as young as 17,
yeah,
like 17 to 21 or something,
yeah.
or 18 to
So
21. They did, yeah, it did feel young. But then thinking of me in the first couple of years of college, it's like that was probably exactly how I was thinking and behaving. So
yeah, yeah.
I
It's
feel like,
I know what you mean. Yeah.
in all of my wisdom at 26, it's like, oh, those youngins, those kiddos. But probably I probably would have been right there with them at 18, my first year of college.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was just my personal taste, I guess, but yeah, I just loved like the magic weirdness element to it. I loved it. Yeah.
Yes. Let's talk about that. We will get into spoilers eventually, but I'm trying to keep it broad strokes, at least in the beginning here. But the magic system, this is one of my favorite things that fantasy does sometimes, is it makes like science-y, like science adjacent magic system. And like that's
Yes.
what the magic is
Yeah.
painting science or some kind of like meta science as the magical element. And another favorite of mine that does this is Foundry Side.
I was
Um,
just gonna say that. Yeah, I
yes,
know you
which
love
has
that.
mixed reviews, but it's one of my favorite fantasy books because it uses physics as a magic system.
That's so
And
cool.
this book uses like philosophy and metaphysics, I guess, as a magic system. So that's like a very specific niche thing that I love in fantasy. And it's funny that you said it felt repetitive and long because I think you're right. But I needed that because I think if it didn't keep going in on certain things, I would have felt really dumb. But
Okay.
because it explained things a few times,
Yeah,
then
yeah.
I felt like, oh, okay, I'm starting to not feel as lost.
Yeah, I think that like the way that the main character, whose name I don't remember,
Sasha.
Sasha? Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, I got it. The way that she like at the beginning when she goes to the school, she doesn't know what's going on and like she keeps trying to read her textbooks and like she can't figure it out. It like definitely mirrored our experience as a reader of the book. I feel because like as it goes on, just like her, you definitely understand more and more, and like it's really satisfying, and you want to keep reading and getting that feeling. I love
Yes.
that part. Yeah.
I have a really hard time with this writing style a lot of the times. What is it called? My English teacher would be really disappointed in me right now. First person, not omniscient.
Oh, limited first
A
person
first
limited.
person, yeah, yeah, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Where you only know the extent of what the main character knows.
Mm-hmm.
But in this instance, it was really satisfying because we were like, I felt like I was fighting just as hard to understand as Sasha was. Whereas like
Yes.
I was so focused and it wasn't frustrating, but I was like so desperately trying to understand and read between the lines to see what was going on that when Sasha would have an epiphany, I felt like I did too, and that makes me feel smart as a reader, which I love. So that way of writing it, I thought was really satisfying.
Yeah, that was definitely like genius. I really like that. The I guess this isn't a spoiler, like the beginning with all her trials that she had to go through.
Oh yeah, that's like in the synopsis. We can talk about that.
Yeah. What did you think of some of that?
Very weird.
Yeah.
Um, so like this like strange man approaches her while she's on vacation and is like, you have to do this strange task or there will be serious consequences. And he like doesn't tell her what the consequences are. And the first task is like, go down to the ocean and swim out to this buoy naked at like in the middle of the night or first thing in the morning or something. And she's like, I'm
Yeah.
not doing that. And then he goes, okay, well, watch what happens. And like something unexplainable and scary happens. And then she goes, I guess I'll do it. So then what happens is she does this thing every morning, and then she vomits gold coins when she completes it. And that was the first time that happened, where she like actually went out to the beach, stripped down, dove into the ocean, swam out to this buoy, came back, and then vomited up gold coins. I was like, what am I reading?
Yeah.
Okay, like what is happening? What is this? I thought this was a magic school. It was definitely very jarring and weird. Like it set the tone of like, oh, I
Yes.
don't know what's gonna happen. Like this is
Mhm.
anything is up for grabs. Like this is weird.
Yes. Yeah. I also really liked how her in the synopsis they call it like her mentor, like that mysterious guy who asks her to do all these weird things. I really like him, and I know that like might be kind of unpopular, but for some reason I really liked his character a lot, and all the things that he comes back and does in the story. I thought that was very interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I know
I
he's
like
kind of
his
creepy.
presence a lot too. Like sometimes his methods were questionable, but we learn as the story goes on that there's a very particular reason for that. And you see Sasha kind of not warming up to him, but she starts to respect his presence a little bit more, or his methods a little bit more. He wasn't my favorite character, but I really liked that he was there. I really liked the role that he played in the story.
Yeah, yeah. What else was I going to say? Okay. Should we talk about spoilers or?
Yeah, let's get into it. Let me change
Yeah.
this stuff away. Okay, where do you want to start?
Okay. I just want to say, and I'm sure you liked this too, that I really loved how like people got labeled as parts of speech.
Yes.
That was so cool.
Yes.
I love that.
Two little linguists really nerded out about that.
Yes.
That's for sure.
That was so cool. I'm forgetting like people were like pronouns, right? Wasn't that the love interest who was a pronoun, and he was like, oh, like,
yeah,
I don't mean anything, like, and it's like, oh, okay, like they all had hidden meanings behind it.
Yes.
That was so cool. Very very unique.
What was his name?
I don't know.
Kashi, started with a K. I remember that. He was like, oh, I'm a pronoun and it means I'm a placeholder. And at first I didn't understand. And then he figures out that he thinks he's a placeholder for his father, who's Sasha's advisor guy that we were just talking about. And he goes, eventually I'll have to take the place of my father, like whether I like it or not, which I thought was like such an interesting way of talking about like family legacy in this context. But Sasha, we learned that her word is a verb in the imperative mood.
Yeah,
so like
cool.
A command. Yeah.
Yes, so I love that. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like made me think about what I would be.
Yeah. Oh my God, that is a great question. Did you come to any conclusion on what you would be?
I don't know. I feel like being an adjective would be fun. I don't know.
That's kind of what I feel like too. I'll just add some flair, some spice to something else.
Yeah. I don't know. It's fun.
I did not make it past the gold coins. Here to see what you thought. I'm wondering if I should give it another go. Yes. Because the gold coins is weird.
I know it's weird. I know.
I get it. I also felt like, whoa, like what is happening? What's with the throwing up gold coins? There's less of that as soon as she gets to the school. And then it becomes weird in other ways, but like philosophy, science-y ways, and not like throwing up money ways.
Yes. Hello.
The English nerd in me was so into the word categorizations. I need 600 pages on just the system. Yes.
I know. Yes. Agreed. Yes. Yeah, I know.
Right when it made sense, then the book ends. It's such a wild ending.
Yes. Sure. Yes.
And that's so true because for most of the book, when they're at the school, the first year students are like, we don't even know why we're here. Like, we don't know what they're teaching us. Like, what are they doing to us? What is the point? What is the reason? And they're not even allowed to ask the older students. Or when they ask the older students are told not to tell them anything. And they all come to the conclusion on their own that it's like, oh, we're turning into parts of speech. And then eventually we like reverberate into whatever part of speech we are, and it like affects the fabric of reality. And it's like that moment in the book was like, wow, I'm a genius for understanding this. But it's like it's pretty much painted out for you, but the way that it was delivered I thought was really, really well done.
Yeah, it was totally genius. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I loved it. Do you know anything about the sequel or?
I've tried to do some digging. It's kind of frustrating that there's not a lot out there. From what I can understand, Vita Nostra is like the first of a trilogy called, like, I think it's called the Metamorphosis trilogy or something, but each book follows different characters. So the series in Russian, you never find out what happens to Sasha. And those two other books haven't been translated yet, I don't think. But the one that's coming out next year is Vita Nostra 2. And that's like a newly written book. Like Vita Nostra was written like 20 years ago. And so now Vita Nostra 2, it is going to be a continuation of Sasha's story, but isn't the other two books that were originally written in the same universe part of the series. So there's this like diversion that's happening. This is from what I've been able to find out. So I'm like excited because now I'm attached to Sasha and I want to know more about her story.
Yeah,
but also, I would take anything happening at this university, like whether it's Sasha or other characters or other metamorphoses happening. So I hope that those books are translated eventually too. But I also heard I was looking at a Reddit thread of like how to interpret some of the books, and the translator popped up in the Reddit thread and was like, this makes me so happy to see this discussion. Like, you don't know how many times we were told that Americans would not be interested in the story because it was like too weird or too obscure. So it was really hard to push for translating it, which makes me think that they might have been having issues. Like if they had to fight so hard just to translate the first book, I'm sure it's a snowball effect with the other books in the series.
Yeah. Oh, that's a shame.
The girl can dream.
Yeah. Oh, that's so frustrating. What?
I know.
No, give us interesting books.
Yes. Yeah. God. That's good to hear. I was excited for this one, and then it was all the way in left field. I might try the audiobook. I totally get you because I don't know how far you got into the whole gold coins first chunk of the book, but it is bizarre.
It is, yeah. Odd. There's some very weird stuff. Yeah, which I was not a fan of, but it definitely it pays off.
I was not sure what I was getting into, but pushed through. And once we got to the school and the mystery and the lessons and the teachers and other students, like all of that, I was obsessed. I like the things that she learns and the exercises. Love it. And then having all of that context to look back on, like the gold coins and the reason that she was asked to complete those tasks, and what the gold coins themselves mean. It all comes together, but it's a hard hurdle to get over at first, I think.
Yeah, it is, but it's worth it.
Okay, I'm not kidding. I want to start Duolingo. Now, like this series alone is like, okay, I'll learn Russian.
I want to. I really do. I studied abroad in Russia.
Did you really?
Yeah. And I didn't really learn much Russian. I just learned how to say like thank you and stuff like that. So I really want to like actually try.
Oh my gosh, I had no idea. That's so cool.
Yeah, no, it was amazing. And this book makes me want to study it like in earnest.
Me too. I finished it and was like, well, time to learn Russian.
Yeah.
That's it. Can't stay because spoilers, but here to say hi. Elizabeth, finish this book and then we will talk. Live tweet me your every thought. Spare no detail. I need to know. I studied Russian for 3 years. It's not an easy time. That's how I feel about French. I studied French for like 4 or 5 years, and I still don't know anything.
Really?
Yeah. I probably would have, I don't know, if I had maybe lived there or spent any time there, it would have soaked in a little bit more, but.
Yeah. I mean, that's understandable. Yeah.
Yeah, language is hard.
Yes, unfortunately.
Don't tempt me, I will. I'm telling you. You weren't here for this part, but this is like one of my favorite books I've read this year. So I will not be upset with you live tweeting me your every whim of Vita Nostra.
So there is a specific scene I want to talk about. The scene with her baby brother.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I want to know your thoughts about it. Your impressions.
Okay. So weird. This is if you guys are still in that chat, this is like a big spoiler, just fair warning. So it's like I feel like she's in her second year at that point.
Yeah, it's pretty late.
Okay, her second year, she goes home, sees her baby brother, is about to leave to go back to school, and then like stares into his eyes and changes him.
I didn't really understand exactly what was happening, but I know that she like almost killed him.
She almost killed him, or like completely like stopped the development of his brain, and then was able to reverse it. But knowing like down the road that she becomes an imperative verb makes me think that she like manifested some command of his like person to transform or to shift, or because she felt like she was looking at her own eyes is the way that she said it. Like she was looking at him and like put some kind of energy into this baby. I almost felt like she was like splitting or like duplicating herself in like a really weird woo-woo way that like wouldn't have been able to work. It would have like killed the baby or something, because her skill is unchecked or unfinished. She doesn't know what she's even doing yet. She just is kind of running around with all of this unchecked power. And let loose on this little baby, kind of like how she did the year before, where she thought she might have like killed those guys in the street, like the thugs that she saw robbing someone.
Oh yeah.
And she like blacks out and doesn't remember and has to ask her professor later, did I kill those guys?
Yeah.
So she knows she has this wild power that she doesn't even understand. But with her baby brother, I felt like looking at that scene after I finished the book, she said some command to him and then had to reverse it once she figured out, oh my god, like what have I done?
Interesting. Okay, yeah, I did not understand that. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I feel like I kind of have to reread this book to
as soon
everything.
as I finished it, I wanted to reread it.
Yeah, it's okay. Interesting. Yeah, because like you said, she has like all this power that she doesn't know what to do with, especially because I really liked that she kept going ahead of what the teachers told her to do or asked her to do. And like they kept telling her not to go ahead, like it's too much for you. And like, isn't it, I really liked, I think it was in her first year that like she went ahead and like she couldn't speak for a long time.
That case, like her professor, it was almost a punishment.
Oh,
because
okay.
her professor was like, oh, like you think you're so good? Well, here's silence, and you can't speak again until like you have something worthwhile to say. And he expected her to be silent for months, and she ended up cracking it in a span of like maybe a couple weeks. But that was where that instance, her professors were like, oh shit, like we have a serious talent on our hands, like what's going on?
Yeah.
And then after that, there were a few instances where she would be like, oh, I'm really cruising along on my studies. Let me just do one more page. Let me do one more exercise. And then she made herself go blind at one point.
Yes.
What was the other one? She like fell asleep wearing the headset and like went through so many of them that her professor was like, if you had gone through one more, your skin would have been on the outside of your body, or like you would have turned inside out.
That's so
like something like really weird and gross. That was like super extreme.
I loved all of that. I just loved it. And like the way that the teachers were so deliberately like obtuse about everything, and just really everything was very opaque. it was frustrating, but in like a really satisfying way that like made you want to know what was going on. I really liked how that was done.
I agree. And even the way that they explained what they were studying or what they were working on and how Sasha would study it should have been so boring. Like the amount of time in this book that's just Sasha sitting at her desk with a textbook open.
Yeah.
So much of the book, but for some reason it never felt boring or like overdone, because the way that she describes like fighting to understand is so engaging, and like the bliss when like she finally like cracks it or puts the puzzle together, and like the subjects are so weird that it's like one of them is trying to read a textbook in this mystery language that they've never explained. They're like, I don't care if you understand it or not, you have to read it. And they're like, okay. And then another one is these like mental exercises that's like, imagine a sphere turning into a cube, but then change the color of the cube or whatever. And then those just get in increasing difficulty. It's like so fascinating. I would love to have those actual textbooks.
Yes, I was just thinking that.
Like, I'm so curious.
Yeah, I kind of want to see it. I want to try it.
I do too. I thought about that. I'm like, well, I want to study this.
Yeah.
It's like mental gymnastics, like training your brain to do multiple things at once or think in certain ways or have like a certain power through like really difficult taxing situations, like mental situations, especially because they have like weekly one-on-ones with their professors who magically know how much you studied or not.
Yeah, that made me so nervous whenever that happened.
Yeah, they just like wave a little ring in your face and they're like, you didn't try hard enough.
Yeah, it's like, how do you know?
But yeah, then they have to recite like how much they learned or didn't learn, or they have to like do the exercises in order. Oh, so
yeah,
good.
that like made me physically nervous. It did.
I would definitely cry if I was getting tested on these. There was a lot of that. I feel like so many of the students like broke down, which would be me too.
Yeah, me too.
Give out from the anxiety. The way they described like exam season was so intense.
Yes.
And like the consequences for not doing well on an exam, it's like implied that their advisor will hurt their family or some catastrophic event will happen.
Oh my God, yeah. Didn't one student, I forget the exact details, but didn't he fail by like just a small margin and like they killed his grandma or something? Like,
oh, that was the love interest, Kostya. I just remembered his name.
Okay, that's his name.
Yeah.
It's like, what the like, that is so messed up, but I love it. I don't know.
I know, because then he just like resigned himself, like, well, I'm just gonna fail, I'm gonna flunk out, I'm doomed, like this is the worst. And Sasha ended up coaching him through it to pass the second time. But the first time he failed, and then it was like, oh, my grandma died. But then his advisor is like, who's also his father, is like, well, she was old, like you can't, I didn't kill her, I just, you know, encouraged the projection of current events, basically, which is so odd, so strange,
so cool.
so cool. I thought so that character, the advisor, Ferret something, was he supposed to be fear, like the embodiment of fear?
Oh, I never thought about it that deeply. I gotta be honest, that's really interesting. He could be, because he was very terrifying.
Like that's how he motivates the students.
Yeah.
And Sasha even has a conversation with him eventually that's like, why do you use fear? Like if you would just be nice to us and ask us nicely, we would still study. And he's like, no, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't.
I mean, I that's why I don't know, like I feel conflicted. Like I kind of agree with him. Like,
I kind of do too, and I don't like it. But
I don't like it. Yeah.
It's like the way that he's like, no, I do use fear and manipulation and coercion to get you to study, because that's the best way. Nothing else will work as well.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, I don't think so. I don't think so. Because I think that Sasha is love.
Ooh.
This is my
okay. Explain.
which I can't take full credit for because I've tried to watch and read a lot of like interviews or reviews about it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's revealed at the very end when she's taking her like final exam because they think that she's like a command or a imperative verb. And then during the exam, she like goes too far again, and they're like, "Oh my god, she's not a verb, she's a password," which is very vaguely explained in the middle of this intense ending that a password like can open up a new reality.
Yeah.
And they're telling her like reverberate, and she's like, I'm not going to do that because if I do that, I'm just going to still have like the way that I know love is all infused with fear because of her advisor who's telling her like commanding her reverberate right now. And she's like, no, if I do that, then all of the love, all of the new reality that I unlock with love is all going to be still tainted with fear. So my interpretation that I've gathered also from other people's reviews is that she initially is like, no, I'm doing it on my own terms. And there's a moment where they're like, oh my God, she failed. Then she reverberates on her own after hearing that. So that she's like, I did it by myself. And there's this like weird cut to scene with like her baby brother and mom peacefully sleeping. And Sasha can like see them. I think that she like opened up a new reality where love exists without fear.
Oh my God, that
is beautiful. My interpretation. But I don't know because now we're going to get a second book. So I have no idea.
That is beautiful. I love that. Yeah, I did not look up anything about this, and I probably should have, but yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I like that a lot. That makes the ending kind of make more sense too, actually.
It is a weird ending.
It is a weird ending.
To see how they go after that in the next book.
Yeah. Oh God, I have no idea.
I know. Ugh. But especially because like love as a command is kind of weird. Like you have to love each other is like a weird command. But as a password, when they finally realize it as like a rule or a new philosophy is very powerful. Mm-hmm. Plus there's when she's learning to like draw those symbols and she's like watching them duplicate in front of her eyes. She keeps drawing ones that are about like affection and I think she drew one for love at some point or all these like other things that tie into that. Which they react very extremely to. They're like, what did you draw? What did you do? You don't know what you've done. Like, how many times did it duplicate? And she doesn't really seem to grasp the gravity of whatever it was that she did.
Interesting. Yeah, no, I have to read this again because I feel like I didn't get all of what I was supposed to get out of it. I don't know because it is
that's like, how I felt, which is then what sent me on a tailspin of like I need to read every review that anyone's ever written.
Yeah. I wonder because this is like quite a complicated book. I wonder how the translation affected it. I don't know if Verity is still here, if she knows at all about the original Russian book, but I am very curious about that.
I know, I can't imagine like what a book to try and translate. There's so many like technical specific things and it's confusing as it is. Like how do you not make that confusing in the translation? I know that the translator is like a personal friend of the author's. Oh. So I'm sure they were like involved. Yes. And it was like she's been like a fan of the series and was like, please, like if we get it translated or translation rights, like I'm gonna do it. Like I will do it justice. So I know she like put everything into it. So I'm sure it's a pretty faithful translation, but I would be really interested to know like how difficult it must have been trying to translate all of those like ideas.
Yeah. That's very interesting. Okay, that makes a lot of sense that she's the personal friend of the authors, because a lot of times, I don't know if this is just me, but when reading translated books, I feel like we're kind of a little bit removed from the original. And like,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, obviously we are because it's translated into a different language, but like, it's not like the translators just translating what they see. Like, they don't know what the authors had in mind. Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And
Right.
that, because when I was reading this, it didn't really feel like I was reading a translation. It had a very like organic feeling to it. So that's very interesting to know. Interesting.
Yeah. I know what you mean, because there's some books that we've read for book club that felt very translated.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
this one didn't really feel that way, I didn't
Yeah.
think. Other than like everything has a Russian name, you know,
Well,
but
yeah, but
like that was really the only clue. If I didn't know it was translated, I might have just thought this obviously takes place in Russia.
yeah. Yeah.
Can you imagine if all the deaths incidents were actually coincidences and the school never did a thing? I mean, it's possible.
Maybe they are.
It's explained eventually that ferret, because eventually it's like, or at the beginning, there's multiple different advisors
Yeah.
that different students have different advisors, but Sasha figures out that it's all the same person, and she like confronts him about it, and he's like, well, what difference does it make? Like, some people just need like this to inspire fear or motivation in them. Some people need this to inspire fear or motivation in them, and it's like a very odd way to explain that.
Oh,
Yeah,
I didn't catch that. I didn't notice that.
she like follows one of the other students because the other advisor was like Lilia or something, and she's like secretly watching Lilia have a conversation with like one of her charges students, and realizes, oh my god, it's the same. Like, it's all the same ferret guy, advisor guy.
Huh.
And then that's like when she has the epiphany of like, oh, he's a grammatical rule and is just like manipulating all of us that we study.
I love that so much.
I know, it's crazy.
So cool. Like, oh, that is such an amazing concept. I love
It's
that so
genius.
much.
It felt like such a smart book. Like, how
Yes,
did this come out of someone's brains?
I know,
Also,
I
like
know.
a married couple, they've written
Yeah,
like dozens of books together.
it's amazing.
This is so cool.
That's the dream, honestly. Like,
Yeah, I know. I told my boyfriend, I was like, so you want to write a book together or what?
oh gosh.
I don't know much about the original Russian book. I feel like it broke my brain in English. I would have lost it trying to read it in Russian. Yeah,
That's
that's
fair. That's totally
very,
fair.
very fair. I do wonder if the
Mm.
differences between English and Russian grammar could affect the nuances. I was wondering that too.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, that's really cool to think about. Ooh, okay.
I know, it's very
Interesting.
meta. Like,
Yes.
the magic system is words and language, and then translating that to a different language. Like, how does that affect the magic system based on words and language? Is fascinating.
Very fascinating. Yeah. Oh, I loved it. Awesome. Yay. Oh.
What else was on my? I feel like there were so many things I wanted to talk about, and then now I can't remember them.
You actually wrote a list. I did not.
My list has 6. My list has coins, ending, school, characters, words. That's my list.
Okay. I think we hit on all of them.
I feel like I know, I think we
I feel
kind
like
of
we
did.
did. Yeah.
The
I mean,
coins.
uh-huh.
What was the meaning of the coins themselves, do you feel like?
Oh my god. No. Are you asking me hard questions? I have no idea.
Hard book.
It was. Oh, I don't know. What do you have any answers for us from your research?
From my research, push my glasses at my face. Someone made the point, this is not my idea, but I thought it was genius when they said it, that they thought that because the symbol on the coin is the symbol for word, which we learn in the book, that when someone throws up the coins, it's like symbolic of words unsaid, like things that should have been said, or it's too late to say them, or for some reason just can't be said. So that creates like this vomit of like empty words.
Oh,
I thought it was an interesting theory, and I don't have a better one, so I'm rolling.
Yeah, I certainly don't. That's very interesting. Okay.
Or even like secrets, which would make sense with the like tasks at the beginning, because
Yeah.
it's a way, it's like a way to coerce them and force them to keep these like almost shameful secrets, so that when they complete this thing that fills them with like fear or shame, then they throw up gold coins to get them enough to like pay their entry to the university. But that would make sense if it was like, you can't tell anyone about this, you have to do it no matter what. And so all of these like unspoken feelings just come up after completion every time.
Interesting. And that ties into like the idea that ferrite is the embodiment of fear too.
Mm-hmm.
That's super interesting.
True.
That's really interesting to think about. Okay. Yeah.
Just want to say it's super messed up that people's trials were so different in severity. Oh my god, yes.
Yeah, that was super messed up.
What was her name?
Really
It was
disturbed
like
me.
the only non-Russian name.
Oh yeah, I don't remember her name, but
was that Lily? Lisa, I think.
It's definitely sounded like either of those names.
I feel like it, yeah. But yeah, her thing was like, oh, if someone comes to you and wants to sleep with you and gives you a coin, you have to do it, which is like so extreme.
So messed up, yeah.
Yeah, meanwhile, Sasha is like, go for a swim naked in the ocean every morning, and then go for a run in the park and pee in the bushes.
That's yeah, like, I mean, that was still weird, but like not
still weird, but not
like
exactly. Yeah, that was pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
I know, and like some of the other side characters had equally like hard lives. Like Sasha's life is tricky because she feels like she's losing connection to her mother now that her mother has this life with this like new man she married and their new baby. But some of the other characters are dealing with like similarly tricky stuff while they're like trying to go through everything to study. It's very complicated.
Yeah. I guess the like different trials that they all have to go with also kind of connects, now that you say that they all had different advisors that were like, even though they were the same person, like they all were some different version of an advisor that was the best for them. So I guess like it was all tailored very personally for them. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, it seems so odd and specific though.
Yes, it is.
This is the perfect way to say it. Yeah. One girl got pushed into prostitution and Sasha got a weird fitness routine. I did not feel very bad for Sasha after that. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't feel bad for Sasha at all, really, throughout the book.
No,
I don't know if we were supposed
to. She became like the star of her classes.
Yeah. Like, I feel like, especially like when she was year 3 and she met that first year girl and she made her like just take off her clothes and give them to her, like right there on the spot. I was like, what is going on? Like, what? Like, that is so like she definitely changed a lot from the beginning of the book. Like, very morally gray. Sorry?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I forgot about that whole part of the book.
Yeah, that was really weird.
Yeah, I think she is supposed to be unlikable. Like, she starts out as this kind of like meek, bland character that you kind of are like, oh, like she's clearly out of her element. Like, oh, she's struggling so hard. But there's this turn where you're like, I don't even know if I like you.
Yeah.
What is going on? And I think from what I've read about the sequel coming out, that seems to be the case in everyone around her. It's like the teachers are scared of her, and like no one else at the school knows how to be around her or doesn't like her, which is understandable. I don't know if I would like her either, but I really like reading about her.
Yes, I like reading about her.
She was a bully. She was.
She
Like,
was.
there was a moment where she like slapped a guy when she was like helping him study, and he's like,
That
"Why
was
did you
fun.
do that?" And she goes, "'Cause you needed it." Like,
Yeah.
whoa.
Yeah. Like kind of like it's kind of funny, but like in
No,
a like
yeah,
a
it was funny. But...
yeah. Yeah, she's definitely an interesting character.
I like that she was so flawed. It made her feel very
Yes.
real and
Yeah.
fun to read about. Like, I'm not a person who needs to like the main character.
Yeah,
Sometimes it's
she
more fun if
wasn't
I don't
like
like them.
the typical chosen one character.
Mhm.
I liked that. I mean, she was a chosen one, but she definitely had like super big flaws.
Yeah.
I liked it. Yeah, I
Yeah.
like that.
Even her own ego, where she keeps getting in trouble for going ahead in her studies, and her professors get increasingly more and more angry. And there's like one moment where, is it Stirk or Steck or something? Like one of the professors who's supposed to be this big softie, but he blows up at her and is like, "You think that you are so important, you think that you're hot shit, like you don't even know what your power is, or like what the potential for destruction is. Like you're not listening to us, like you have to behave, like this is unacceptable." And she's like, "Make me." Like she turns into such a little brat at
Yeah,
one
she
point in the
does.
book.
Yeah, very interesting character.
Yeah. I did like her a lot. What was with her relationship with that younger boy? How did you feel about that whole thing?
I mean that like not that specifically, but the whole romance drama thing, kind of love triangle-esque thing going on, kind of was the reason for me rating it a 4 instead of a 5. I just because I wanted more of like the weird magic and school stuff. And like I get that there needs to be a balance, but it wasn't interesting to me. I wasn't a fan.
Yeah, I get you. It did feel very very different from everything else. It felt kind of almost jarring to have anything else except for the extreme weirdness of their studies.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the professors is even like, you have to have a social life. And there's even a moment where he's like, it's important that you part with your virginity. And she's like, why?
Yeah.
Which I thought was weird too.
Yeah,
but we went there.
We did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this book is labeled adult, but it did feel like more like new adult. Like there was definitely a feeling of coming of age in there, and like maturing, which was an interesting spin on things. I appreciated that.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think new adult is probably the best classification because they're like 18 to 21-year-olds in university. I think that's like the exact demographic for new adult.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I think the younger boy was kind of necessary though, because it was an example of how her imperative verb nature could affect people.
Ooh, I like that I like that a lot.
Right. They even like explicitly said that towards the end.
I think they did. Yeah.
It was like he was like a subjective verbs or something.
Subjunctive?
Some kind of other thing in the same like vein, but not like a command like Sasha was. And she has this moment of like, are you saying that I like influenced his actions? Like, is it my fault that the way things happened? And it's like, well, it is your fault, but not because of your like magnetism as a word. I don't know. It was very weirdly explained that they had this connection because of like the words that they were, and how sometimes that can like affect each other. So that was you're right. That was like an important dynamic, I think, to have there.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Whatever if is, that's what he was.
Yeah, the subjunctive verb, I think he was, like the subjunctive verb mood, which was interesting because that's also like a weird verb mood. Just in grammar.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that stuff. People find that boring, so I won't go into it. But yes, the cost. Yeah, varieties. Yeah, like what was that?
Yeah, the random wedding. Like, did we have to go there?
It was very weird.
Like, you
That's
can't
what I was
date?
talking about. Like, they felt very young, and then they like suddenly got married. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, that. I don't know. That felt pretty extreme.
Yeah.
Like for college kids to be like, we're getting married, and their professor is like, okay.
It's so weird, right? Yeah, I didn't get
weird.
that. I
don't know why they couldn't have just been together.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't feel like that added much to the story. I mean, it added drama, I guess, because there was like that tension there, but the weird wedding, yeah, that was just weird.
Yeah. Well, even with her new boyfriend, when she gets put in that time loop because she's not remembering or she's not learning as fast as she needs to. So her advisor puts her in like a loop where she repeats the same day. And it happens to be the day where her boyfriend asks her, like, should we get married every day? And she like lives it for weeks to the point where she's like, don't ask me to get married. Was interesting. It made me just think like maybe that's a part of the culture or the school or something where students just do that. But we didn't hear about anyone else getting married at the school. So I don't know.
I mean, yeah, it definitely could be like a cultural difference. I don't know, maybe in rural Russia, students get married earlier. I don't know.
I know. It did seem odd. But there was, like, Kostya asked, how did it go? Like, Kostya said to Sasha that he was in love with her and, like, wanted to marry her. And Sasha was like, I don't feel the same. You should go marry so-and-so if you want to get married so badly. And he basically was like, okay, bet. And then did that.
Yeah.
So it almost felt like he was proving to Sasha that
it definitely felt very spiteful and not at all like he actually cared about his wife at all.
No, yeah. I would have forgiven it if their actions were explained by their words, like later on the wife divorces him and gets another husband because Kostya is a placeholder or something like that. That now we're talking.
That's a good idea.
This is some big brain. I don't remember if we learned what her word was.
The wife?
It would be like maybe
a
noun or something.
I don't remember, yeah. That's an interesting idea.
I need to get explanations about the words. I don't need the romance.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Yes. So cool. I can't wait to read the sequel.
Yeah, me neither. Yay. Well, I'm glad that we both liked it so much.
Me too. It feels good to like gush about a book like this, you know?
Yeah. I am sad that Britt did not like it.
I know. I would love to know what pushed her over the edge. Like at what point did you DNF?
Yeah. You know? I would like to know that because I understand the other fantasy we recently read, the Hungarian one, the Bonefire. We all DNF'd that.
We all DNF'd that.
Because it was bad. But like this was really good.
Yeah.
So I'd be interested to know why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's okay. We'll have to interrogate her next month.
Yeah. So what is our book next month?
Violets. Right? Or that's this month.
Oh, yes. Violets. Yes.
Violets is this month. And next month is House of the Spirits.
Yes. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Is that going to be on your channel? Or which one is on your channel?
I think Violets is on my channel.
Perfect.
Right? Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay.
I mean, sounds good to me.
Yeah. Sure, I'll do it. So yeah, that'll probably be maybe not the first Tuesday of September, but we'll see. Well, one of the Tuesdays.
I know. I still have to start it, so
Yeah.
I can't believe it's already the 16th.
Yeah, I know. Stop.
This is wild. Slow down.
Yeah, but it's short, so it should be
Yeah, that'll be
okay.
nice.
It's very short, so that's good. All right. Well, thank you all for joining us.
Yeah, I know. This was such a fun one.
Yeah.
And we will see you in September to talk about violets.
Yeah. I hope you join us then.